What do you feel like you're going to bring to the game?
You just a hang bitch. I don't get too fucks. You just like to talk a lot. You ain't finna do nothing.
Took a shot in the dark, let it rain down. You could be my yeah, be my pen pal.
So how I make it here to XXL? They was streaming Look at God when I was going through hell, but now they feeling what I'm saying like they reading in Braille.
The XXL Freshman list is one of the most hyped traditions in hip-hop. Every year, the magazine packs a handful of new artists who they believe will shape the future of rap. For the culture, it's more than just a cover shoot. It's a stamp of approval, a sign that you move from underground chatter to mainstream conversation. Careers have been launched from this platform, and every artist who makes the list instantly gets put under the spotlight. And one of the most unexpected names to make it in 2025 is a man nobody ever thought would be there. A few years ago, he wasn't even focused on music. He was running drills, playing in G League gyms, and chasing the same basketball dream that defined his entire family. But life took a sharp turn, and instead of being remembered for hoops, he's now making headlines for hits. That man is LiAngelo Ball, better known today as Jello, the shock athlete turned rapper. Jello's story is wild because his entry into music was never planned. He went from UCLA's courtside spotlight to being dropped after the infamous shoplifting scandal in China, then bounced around leagues from the G League to Mexico. Nothing stuck. He later admitted bluntly, "I can't pay bills with that." That frustration pushed him away from basketball completely and into the booth, where he stumbled into a rap career almost by accident. His first real moment came with Tweaker, a song that wasn't even marketed the usual way.
I might swerve in that corner, whoa, whoa. Bitch, hold on tight, cause I tweak in this bitch, I let this shit go.
He previewed a snippet on a live stream, and instead of disappearing, it spread like wildfire. What started as internet jokes turned into millions of plays. The song's hooky, nostalgic bounce reminded fans of early 2000s Southern rap, and people were stunned to realize it actually slapped. Suddenly, LiAngelo Ball was racking up streams as a rapper. That moment flipped his life. Labels swarmed, and before long, he signed a massive deal with Def Jam and Universal Music Group, worth up to $13 million, with $8 million guaranteed. But his rise wasn't free of controversy. His NBA All-Star Weekend performance was ripped apart online, called a clown show.
I can see the lies on your face because your eyes are twisted. That's on the faces be disguising.
But the clip still drew more than 1.3 million views. Even when the critics laughed, the audience kept watching. But if you think that was unexpected, let me tell you, in hip-hop, nothing is. And if there's one name that proves it, it's Vaughn. Hailing straight out of Long Beach, California, he grew up in a city already stamped into rap history by names like Snoop Dogg and Vince Staples. Ray started rapping at just 12 years old, sharpening his skills long before anyone in the industry even knew his name. By 2021, he caught his biggest streak, signing to Top Dog Entertainment, the same TDE that housed Kendrick Lamar. What makes that moment even crazier is that it happened right after Kanye West ghosted him, leaving him stranded with no follow-up. That ghosting turned into motivation, and TDE stepped in at the perfect time, setting up his path towards the XXL Freshman class of 2025. The years that followed saw him bubbling under, but in April 2025, he came with a project that proved he wasn't just another signee. His mixtape, The Good, The Bad, and The Dollar Menu, dropped under TDE, and it immediately started turning heads. The title alone was enough to get people talking. It sounded raw. Inside, Ray showed the same sharp lyrical edges that fans on Reddit had been praising for years. The release established him as one of the few artists who could actually balance storytelling with clever punchlines. Then came May 2025, when Vaughn stepped into the fire of a rap feud that nobody expected. He dropped a track called Ho Era. Aimed squarely at Joey Badass. Within days, Joey fired back with his response, The Finals.
About time top, let your ass off for the leash. Signed for 5 years, yet your biggest moment for me. Can't nobody name a single song you ever released.
And just like that, a rap battle was in full swing. The back and forth pulled in massive attention online. And suddenly, Ray wasn't just the new guy on TDE. He was the dude going toe-to-toe with one of the most respected lyricists of the last decade. The industry took notice, and the feud only added to the hype around his XXL Freshman appearance.
To never make an excuse, stem from crazy conversations embedded deep in my roots, was created with ambition. It's no way to get it installed. My mama alcoholic, I tried to help her with the withdrawals.
But here's where things got really messy. When the XXL Freshman class was revealed in mid-2025, a lot of people weren't impressed with the lineup. Critics said the magazine had lost its touch, and half the picks didn't belong, and social media filled up with lukewarm takes. Vaughn wasn't having it. He defended the class publicly, saying he wasn't the only one in the group who could rap, and that people needed to give the others a chance. His comments were picked up by XXL Magazine and Wrap Up, sparking even more debate. And what if I tell you that one of the biggest shakeups in the 2025 XXL Freshman class didn't come from a drill rapper or viral TikTok sensation, but from a soulful voice out of Tennessee? Samara Sin, born in Murfreesboro, has quickly become the name that even legends are whispering about. It's not every day that Erykah Badu and Lauryn Hill co-sign a newcomer, but that's exactly what happened for her. For someone coming out of a town most people couldn't find on a map, she carried a sound so unique it forced the industry to listen. Her journey to the national stage wasn't overnight. Back in 2024, she released her first EP, The Drive Home. It was raw, emotional, and dripping with a kind of vulnerability that didn't sound like anyone else in her age bracket. Critics noticed she wasn't leaning on flashy features or gimmicks. She was building a lane that balanced lyrical sharpness with a soulful delivery. Then came Backroads in June 2025, her second EP, which solidified the fact that she wasn't a one-project wonder. That same summer, Samara Sin landed one of the defining moments of her career so far, a late-night television debut on The Daily Show, performing her single Hard-Headed.
Homeless man on the corner asking for $1 to get on my face. Passed by a second time to my car, walking high about the pain.
She showcased exactly why those legendary cosigns mattered. Her voice carried the weight of lived experience. Her lyrics felt more like confessions than punchlines, and her stage presence made it impossible to write her off as just another freshman pick. Then, in August 2025, the industry doubled down on her rise. She was named BET Amplified Artist of the Month, a spotlight reserved for acts positioned to explode in the mainstream culture. And then came the Cypher. The 2025 XXL Freshman Cypher paired Samara Sin with heavy personalities like Jello and Vaughn, both known for aggressive delivery.
Bitch, I'm saying God gave me this rap. Came in a freshman, but bitch, I'm a Mac. Cool little voice, little Nelly Furtado. Race on me with a face like a model.
And if you thought the XXL Freshman cover was just about polished rappers who paid years of dues, the story of BabyChiefDoit flips that idea upside down. Born around 2008, this Chicago teenager wasn't even old enough to order a drink, yet he's already etched his name into the Billboard charts. Coming out of the city that gave the world drill music, BabyChiefDoit became one of the youngest rappers in recent memory to plant a flag in the mainstream. His breakout single, Went West, pushed its way into the Billboard Hot 100 in 2025, while another track, Rollin', climbed into the TikTok Billboard Top 50 thanks to endless dance trends and remix loops circulating across social media. For someone his age, those numbers weren't just impressive, they were historic, putting him in conversations most rappers twice his age are still chasing.
I don't know about you, but I'm getting mad. Serving the fiends, everybody getting land. Everybody that's praying on my downfall, let's see who make it to the finish line. Bow!
While some teenagers might test the waters with a couple of viral tracks, he came heavy with full-length projects. In 2024, he dropped Animals Only, a project that first caught the attention of his city's underground drill circuit. By the time listeners finished digesting that tape, he was already preparing his follow-up. In 2025, he released Zoo Life, his second project in just 2 years, signaling he wasn't content to be a one-hit wonder riding off TikTok hype. That sprint took him to one of hip-hop's biggest stages, Rolling Loud. There, BabyChiefDoit made headlines for more than just his performance. During press run chatter around the festival, he openly admitted that he had been using ChatGPT to write some of his lyrics. The revelation sounded like a bombshell in a culture that still values penmanship and authenticity. The admission sparked even more rumors. Whispers began circulating that some of those AI-generated lines were later polished or outright replaced by veteran figures in the Chicago drill scene. But whatever it was, he still made it to the list.
I don't feel like Big Meek. I don't feel like Larry Hoover. Bitch, I'm Baby Chief, and I do ya.
1900 Rugrat is the kind of rapper who reminds people why freestyling still matters in a generation dominated by streaming numbers and TikTok trends. Coming out of West Palm Beach, Florida, he carved his name not through polished radio singles, but through gritty one-take freestyles that felt too raw to be staged. In an era where artists often spend months perfecting a track before letting the world hear it, Rugrat built his buzz on the exact opposite approach. He pressed record, let the words spill out, and hit upload. That authenticity struck a chord, especially with fans who were starting to feel like the new wave of rap was losing its edge. It didn't take long for the industry to notice. By 2025, Rugrat was signed to 300 Entertainment, the same label that has housed heavyweights like Young Thug, Megan Thee Stallion, and Gunna. But unlike those bigger names, his rollout wasn't fueled by flashy marketing or a viral gimmick. 300 treated him like a secret weapon, letting him quietly build his reputation through underground channels before pushing him into the spotlight. His breakout moment to the wider public came with the 2025 XXL Freshman Cypher.
Sleeping on the floor, right there with the roaches. I done ran it up all cut, dope, and boulders. Since I ran it up, Granny ain't told me get up off her sofa.
On paper, he wasn't supposed to be a show stealer. With personalities like Jello and Vaughn in the mix, most expected Rugrat to be overshadowed. But when the beat dropped, his energy instantly shifted the room. But the most shocking part of Rugrat's rise wasn't just the performances people see, but how those freestyles were actually created. Word has spread that many of his most celebrated verses weren't recorded in fancy studios at all. Instead, they were laid down in single takes on his phone's voice memo app. In a time when AI lyrics and overproduced beats are dominating headlines, 1900 Rugrat built his place on the freshman list by keeping it raw, unpredictable, and defiantly unpolished.
Ain't no 2 for 1s, you paying one a piece. Then a money hat, it's not only one of these.
And then we have Ian, and this is the kind of name that makes people stop and ask, wait, who was this guy? Unlike most of the 2025 XXL Freshman class, his rise didn't come with a flood of viral snippets or endless social media antics. He came up quiet, almost too quiet, out of suburban Dallas, Texas. What put him on the radar wasn't his online following, but the fact that Lil Yachty himself discovered him and started giving him cosigns. That kind of blessing immediately positioned him as someone to watch. Add to that his alignment with the lyrical Lemonade crowd and regular appearances around Rolling Loud vibes, and Ian quickly started to look less like an unknown rookie and more like a carefully groomed enigma. The mysterious part of Ian's career is how deliberately he avoids the usual path. He doesn't post constantly, doesn't overshare in interviews, and rarely engages in the kind of gimmicks that fuel hype for other young rappers. Instead, he's crafted an aesthetic around being hard to pin down. Fans talk about his cryptic merch drops, clothes and accessories released in tiny batches, often without warning, with designs that feel more like puzzles than promotional gear. That enigmatic aura carried into his XXL Freshman Cypher appearance.
Walking that bitch like, how the hell y'all doing? How y'all feeling today? Ready to turn myself in down at the station. I made a killing today.
While most of the 2025 class used that moment to flex energy and charisma, Ian stood out by doing the opposite. His delivery was measured, cold, and deliberate. Each line landed with a sense of control, making it clear he wasn't there to scream over the beat. He was there to command it. And here's the shocking twist. Despite being in one of the biggest platforms for rising rappers, Ian reportedly isn't signed to a major deal yet. Rumors in industry circles suggest that his entire XXL run is being used as leverage, a calculated play to drive up bidding wars between labels. That's what makes him such a standout in this year's class. And then, Loe Shimmy is proof that not every XXL freshman needs to come charging in with high energy chaos to make an impact. Coming out of Pompano Beach, Florida, a city that already gave us names like Kodak Black, Shimmy carved out his own lane with a sound that's almost the complete opposite of the drill-fueled aggression dominating rap right now.
Can you downright? Tell me when it really sloppy. Give a couple shots of Julio and she get really naughty.
His voice is instantly recognizable, a wobbly nasal croak that somehow makes every line both effortless and heavy. Fans describe it as a melodic slither, sliding through beats with a chill, almost detached presence. That delivery has become his trademark, and it's what separates him from the pack in the 2025 XXL Freshman class. By 2025, Loe Shimmy had already proven he wasn't just coasting on a unique voice. He dropped his project, Rockstar Junkie, earlier this year, which leaned into his laid-back, melodic approach, while still carrying enough bite to keep his core audience locked in. The release showed that he could stretch beyond singles and carry a full project, giving critics little choice but to take him seriously.
Let me see. I'm in the game, I shoot like Jordan with his G23. Don't matter, cause we disagree, don't mean you up and leave.
Around the same time, he took the stage at Rolling Loud, one of hip-hop's biggest proving grounds for up-and-coming artists. On a lineup stacked with louder and flashier names, Shimmy's slower, hypnotic vibe cut through in its own way, reminding people that charisma doesn't always come from yelling into a mic. That same effect carried into the XXL Freshman Cypher. While other rappers went for heavy flexes and rapid delivery, Shimmy leaned back into his calm, almost sinister tone. He wasn't trying to outpace anyone, but the contrast of his delivery ended up making his verse one of the most talked about in the room.
Turn they back on me, I'm in a room with strangers, but I'ma be alright. I spend on opposite every night. Right now I'm recording in the dark when I'ma see the light.
If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss the next video. Drop a comment on what grade you would give this year's XXL Freshman class.